guys, I hope you're all well. I haven't been on YouTube for a while, it seems, and there is a reason for that, and I thought I'd come on here today to explain and to also raise some awareness with this. It's more to raise awareness than anything. I think the last time I posted a video, it wasn't that long ago, but I actually filmed that in December. That was my 2021 predictions, and yeah, I'm trying to get back into the swing of things, but I thought I'd start with raising some awareness first, because something was really wrong with me for the past for a couple of weeks. So it's been about the past month, and it was very scary, and I just thought there's not enough awareness around this topic, so I thought that I would share my story with autonomic dysreflexia. Now, I'm going to keep this kind of simple, and I haven't written notes or anything, but I'm just going to talk about my story and explain what autonomic dysreflexia is. So if you have a spinal cord injury and you have a higher spinal cord injury, if you hurt yourself below your level of injury, you will get autonomic dysreflexia. You're likely to anyway. So it could be any pain below that level of injury. And the reason for that is, say if something was hurting, say for example, this is an example a lot of people use, like an ingrown toenail is painful, right? So if someone has an ingrown toenail, your brain would normally, if you can feel your whole body and you didn't have a spinal cord injury, your brain would be going, ow. It would be telling you, you'd be like, oh, my toe hurts, ow. With a spinal cord injury, we wouldn't know. So what would happen is that pain is still sending the message up to your brain, but it can't get to the brain. So for example, for me, with my C6 level of injury, it'll be traveling up my spinal cord all perfectly fine here. It will get to my scar tissue on my spinal cord and not be able to get through, and it goes a bit like wild, and your body's responding. So it will be responding by terrible cold sweats. At least for me, cold sweats are what for me. I think some people just have hot sweats as well, but I have cold sweats. You will get tingles, you get a rash, you get a terrible headache. If you can resolve it straight away, literally the symptoms go straight away. So those are symptoms, and those symptoms are warning signs that there's something wrong where you can't feel, which is absolutely fine most of the time because you can sort it out. However, when there are times when you don't know what's going on, when you don't know what's wrong, when you cannot figure it out, it is scary. And I'm not here to try and scare anyone, but it is scary because you are going through all the symptoms are getting worse. And the problem with that is that autonomic dysreflexia can actually cause a stroke, can cause a heart attack, brain damage, or death. Now that sounds so extreme, but it's so true. And I really want to make this video because it seems that a lot of people in the medical industry, as amazing as they are, do not understand spinal cord injuries that well. And I noticed that from when I had to go to hospital. I had to go to the emergency room twice, and I was being ignored. In general terms, my blood pressure is super low, but my blood pressure was normal when I went to the emergency room. So they didn't really understand what I was saying when, no, that's high. So what happened? I woke up on the 23rd of December with terrible cold sweats as soon as I sat up. So in my bed, I can press a button and it'll sit me up. I started sitting up like, oh, this is not right. Something is hurting. And not in the way of, ow, this hurts. It's like a rush of like tingles and weird sensation. So I had to lay down. And then I got in the shower and I was okay. I had some paracetamol, sort of eased a little bit. But as the day went on, and I did pressure relief in my chair, so I was doing like this sort of motion, I was like, and beads of sweat were dripping down my chest and my face, everywhere. I had to get in bed. As soon as I lay down, it was okay. I don't know what happened. And it kept getting worse and worse. And I then called a paramedic that same day. Was it that same day or the day after? I believe it is either that same day or the day after. I called a paramedic, and the paramedic came, and they were just like, they checked my back, because to be honest, I think it's probably something to do with my back, like pulled muscle. It could have been something simple like pulled muscle, but because I didn't know what it was, it's like it can actually be life-threatening, even a pulled muscle. So they checked me over. They were like, we think you're okay, but you can go in if you want. And I was like, well, if they think I'm okay, maybe I am, maybe I don't really know. So I just thought maybe I just need to rest it off, like lay down for the rest of the day, rest of the night. So I did. Next day, it was just worse. So I had two paramedics come again, and they stretchered me to the emergency room. And they were like, because I was like, I think I need an x-ray, I think I need an MRI, I need a scan so we can figure this out, because autonomic dysreflexia is dangerous. And if it doesn't get sorted out, this could actually kill me. And don't think I'm being dramatic, like, this is true. The one way you can help your autonomic dysreflexia, just to ease it for the meantime, is have a GTN spray. I've only used mine like once or twice because I want to get to the root cause of it. But when it's that scary, you do need to use it because it just brings down the blood pressure. But that can also cause a really big headache as well. So when I was at the emergency room A&E, again, doctor checked me over. He's like, we're just going to do some bloods. This was after a few hours. And they were like, oh, there's markers, you've got a kidney infection. And then I spoke to my friend, she was like, well, with bloods, you can't tell it's a kidney infection. It will just say there's an infection somewhere. But it's because I said, I think it's my back. They were just assuming. So, not putting words in anyone's mouth, but that's kind of what it seemed. So I was on antibiotics. I then got worse. Well, then I just like left it for a few days actually, because it's Christmas. So I spent Christmas Day completely in bed. Every time I'd have to like gradually sit myself up like 10 degrees at a time to eat my Christmas dinner. I was like easing myself up and up and up. I kept taking like cocodamol, I think I was having, or codeine. I'm not sure if that's the same thing, I'm not sure. I don't really take painkillers that often, so I don't really know. So I had that, I had some paracetamol, I had diazepam. I was just trying to breathe through it as well. Like, this was awful, like so much, it's just so uncomfortable. And every time I'd shower, I would be wet afterwards, so I'd feel like I need another shower. Anyway, so Christmas wasn't the best Christmas because I was stuck in bed. Luckily, you know, I had a very supportive people around me, which really, really, really helped. And yeah, so that was that. Then it was Boxing Day, just was dealing with it basically. I was just accepting it. And then it got to like maybe the 27th, I think, or 28th, 27th or 28th. I had to go back to the emergency room because it was just not getting better. Anyway, it turns out I didn't have any infection. There was no infection present. And I was like, look, I really need a scan. Please at least give me an x-ray. In case I was thinking, what if I've broken like something lower, like in my hips or on my back? Like, what if something's happened to me? Like, I wouldn't be able to say. Nope, they wouldn't do it. I was just laid in the hospital for hours on end for no reason, which I didn't want to do in this like season anyway of, you know, COVID and stuff. So anyway, I then went home again as soon as I got in my chair, because I got stretchered there again, but then I had to get picked up. So I got in my chair and I'm just dripping again with sweat. No one's none the what. Everyone's just treating me as if it's not serious. We were told by the emergency room that they were going to contact the spinal doctor at the hospital. I was like, great. Anyway, next day, my mum rings the spinal doctor, bless her heart, and she's like, or the secretary, has Jordan been referred? Because they said in 2 days' time she's going to be able to be seen by the spinal doctor. They were like, no, she hasn't. And they were like, this happens a lot, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, they got me in a couple of days later. So I then went and checked me over again. And again, it was just like, I luckily got an x-ray and thankfully nothing was broken. So that was one good thing with it. However, I was then like, they were like, we'll do an MRI. I was like, great, can we go for the MRI? No, can't do it now. It's gonna be referred. And I was like, really? I've been in bed like non-stop and this is dangerous. This is really, really dangerous. And it was so bizarre because I felt like the spinal doctor didn't understand what autonomic dysreflexia was either. Anyway, I then was in bed again, just staying in bed. I ended up speaking to my physiotherapist, who I haven't spoken to in so long, but he's so amazing and so knowledgeable, as you've probably seen in my previous videos when I've been to physio and stuff. Like, they're amazing at Prime Physio. So I spoke to him and he suggested that if there's no clicking, and I have had an x-ray, it's to try laying on my stomach and have a massage. So I did that. And bearing in mind as well, I was doing things like Reiki, I was having distance healing with amazing individuals, and just very good spiritual exercises too. But so I then laid on my front, and my sister, she gave me a massage. Well, the next day I felt like something had shifted and I was able to get up for a little while. So that was amazing. But then I was back in bed, back in bed. It was like out for an hour in and stuff like that. So that obviously had helped in some way, and we don't know how, but it obviously had. so I kept trying to move because I think I'd stiffened up from being in bed for 2 weeks at this point. And I then get a phone call actually, because I called the MRI department myself, and they said you can have an appointment on the 22nd of January, and that was in another 2 weeks. And I was like, are you kidding me? I've been laid in bed for 2 weeks now, and that will be 4 weeks. If I have to still stay in bed, that'll be 4 weeks that I've been left in this situation, which is dangerous and scary and very, very dangerous. Oh my God, this is why I want to make this video, because if I'm ever in a situation, or if any of you guys are in a situation where it's like no one's listening to you, please know that you're like, you know your body. At the end of the day, it's like with any health thing, you know your body. And also it's just worrying to me that people don't know enough about this in case something even worse was wrong. If I was still waiting right now for an answer, I would still be stuck in bed, and you never know what could have been happening to me. I had my MRI this Friday gone. Luckily, in that time where I was able to get back up, so I have been okay. So thankfully, I have been okay since then. But they didn't know that, and so that would have been a month. Get to the MRI department, they want to do an MRI on my spine. It's because I saw the spinal doctor, and I was like, look, it could be anything. I don't think it's my actual spine. It will be the surrounding area. It could be anything below the level of injury. And they're like, oh, you'll have to ask for that, you know, again, like we'll do this, and then you'll have to come back maybe for a CT scan. And I'm like, this is crazy. Like, there's no communication. And I was just like, I'm trying to explain, but it's like talking to a brick wall, because it's like, this is kind of abnormal for people to see autonomic dysreflexia and understand how dangerous it is. I even took it in a letter that I was given by the spinal unit. It didn't seem to make a difference. But I just think it's important to raise some awareness. So that is my story with it. Luckily, I'm back up now. Still don't know what was wrong because I haven't had the results yet, and I don't think I'll get any results from that MRI because I don't think that's what I needed. Luckily, it's kind of rectified itself in a way. But if it hadn't, this is why I need to use my voice. If it hadn't, I don't know where I'd be right now. But guys, like, please, if you are in the medical field, if you've come across someone who has a spinal cord injury and they are cold sweating, they have headache, they're tingled, they have a rash on their chest, like I have this disgusting blotchy rash all over my chest, please know there's a reason for it. Please pay attention. Please be mindful and know it's a medical. I was on a roll then, guys, and my memory card just ran out. But guys, if you come across anyone with the symptoms of a cold sweat, a really terrible rash on their chest, tingles like goosebumps on their arms, headache, they feel dreadful and they don't know why and they can't tell you why, and they're just in pain, but they can't say it's a pain level of, people ask me a pain level between 1 and 10. I'm like, it's not that kind of pain. It's just a whoosh of what the hell is happening right now. Like, it's like a shooting pain, but not pain. Oh, it's so hard to explain, but I hope I'm doing a good job to raise some awareness right now. But please be mindful of these things. Know that it's a medical emergency. Know that it can cause really, really bad things, and know that there's something wrong. And it could be something so simple. So this is why it's important to sort it out, because it could be something tiny. Like we found out like I had just pulled my back, we could have just done massage straight away, but we didn't want to touch me in case there was something broken or if that wasn't what we needed to do. So just be mindful of people and share this message with people. Share the message that autonomic dysreflexia is a thing. It's definitely a thing. It's in the medical, it is a thing, but I just want people to know more about it. I just want people to understand it. And I hope I've explained it enough. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments below and I'll get back to you. I know this is probably a different video to what you expect from me because I'm like more about the motivation, my card readings and spirituality and law of attraction and all that stuff. But at the same time, I'm here to be a voice for people and be a voice for people who are in similar situations to me, be a voice to help raise awareness for you guys to understand and to make things an easier world for us all to live in. So it's more, as long as more people know about this and the difficulties that surround this, that we can help one another. So thank you so much for watching, guys. I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful that I'm out of bed now. I can't even tell you, I'm so grateful, and I'm grateful that you watched this. So please leave me a comment below and give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe, and I'll speak to you soon. Thanks, guys.